הקדוש ברוך הוא מלך ואני עבדו.
You've all heard in the news what's going on here in Israel today as we face the Hamas in Gaza. The fact of the matter is that here in Israel, we don't just believe in miracles, we depend on them. Ever since the creation of Israel in 1948, the people of Israel have sought peace. They've sought peace, they've dreamed of peace, they've sacrificed for peace. Even if it means giving up land as security for the possibility of peace, Israel has done that. Israel gave up the land of Gaza, which was flourishing under Israeli control with all sorts of businesses and flowers being developed, cultivated, and sent to Europe. Israel gave it up for the sake of peace, of the possibility of peace. And instead of peace, what was found was Hamas using civilians as human shields, using mosques, hospitals, schools to store their armaments in, tunnels to bring in from Iran and Syria all sorts of equipment and missiles. Finally, with all the options of peace taken off the table, and Hamas not wanting to go ahead with a ceasefire, and then bombarding all of these cities in southern Israel daily with missiles, Israel said, enough is enough. I often think of the psalmist David and the psalm that describes a feeling of being totally surrounded by enemies. As the psalm says, Kol goyim sevavuni, all the nations surrounded me and buzzing like bees to attack me. And here in Israel, that's often how we feel. In the north, we have Hezbollah, which has taken over Lebanon. In the east, we have Syria, which continues to bring terrorism to this whole region and to supply terrorist organizations with weapons. To the south, we have Gaza and Hamas, which has pledged to destroy the state of Israel. I'm in Sderot. Gaza is just a couple of kilometers over there. Behind me is Ashkelon, Ashdod, the center of Israel. 8 years ago, this city started to be pounded almost daily with missiles from Gaza. And for 8 years, families, children, elderly people, everyone, going to work, going to the supermarket, going to school, sending your children on a bus, and fearing that siren code red. Just 30 seconds ago, we experienced again what the people here in Sderot have experienced day after day after day for 8 years. And that is a missile coming in. You don't know where it's going to land. The siren goes off, which gives you roughly 15 seconds. And in this case, the missile hit just a few yards from where we are. This was obviously not planned, but I think you get some idea of what the people of Israel, the children, have had to go through. The time has come when Israel is bringing this to a halt. And Israel counts, with all the pressure internationally on her, against her, Israel counts on America Israel counts on our Christian friends who stand with us. I'm sometimes asked, what can we in the churches in America do to help you? Well, I believe in the power of prayer. And so the first thing that I would urge you to do is pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray for the brave young Israeli soldiers who are out there fighting and risking their lives today. Pray that there be as little civilian casualties on both sides. Secondly, you've all heard the news and you see the demonstrations against Israel in various cities and capitals and countries around the world, even in the Western world, let alone in the Arab world. It is really important for you to get the word out about what is really happening here. That Israel was left with no choice but to go in after 8 years of bombardments and sitting with our hands closed together and hoping and trying to negotiate and still no peace. And so I hope you will get that word out there. And finally, for those of you who can, bless God's people with the needs, the basic needs that they have now, that have increased. There's a need for shelters, for trauma centers, for provisions in the shelters that the children, that the elderly need, and so much more. I hope you will take this opportunity to pray for Israel, to tell her story, and to help tangibly the needs that the people here have. And so this is the predicament that we feel of being surrounded by enemies. But at the same time, we trust in the God, the guardian of Israel. And we trust and rely in those people, Jews and Christians alike, who join us, stand in solidarity with us to protect and to guard the people of Israel.